Fighting games can feel like a roller coaster. It is full of it is so over and we're so back moments. If you're not mentally prepared, you'll want to get off this ride and never look back. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Kuzco on the ones and twos, doing it big, never small, and there's a couple insights I wish I knew when I started my fighting game journey 15 years ago. Players tend to hyper-focus on how they can improve their gameplay mechanically and oftentimes neglect external factors that can be detrimental to their growth. I'm here to share 5 tips that help me grow as a better fighting game player. I'll have the timestamps below just in case you want to jump to a certain talking point or revisit any of the discussions that we're going to have today. If you're new here, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch. I do post fighting game content on the regular, so if that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing, and if you're a returning viewer, I see y'all. Tip number 1, you're going to lose a lot. You see, fighting games are a difficult genre. It just is. The nature of it is primarily a 1v1 game as opposed to other competitive games such as your Call of Duties or your League of Legends where you have teammates. Everything you do is on yourself and your controller, but is all on you. So you don't have a teammate to blame and you don't have a teammate to carry you. This leads to losing more often than usual when it comes to other video games. And it's to the point that since you don't have those people to blame, I feel like it's more potent within the fighting game scene that people will blame the game itself, talking about, oh, the game sucks, your character is busted, I'm playing a low tier character, etc, etc, etc. When in reality, when you lose, you should be thinking to yourself, okay, what can I do differently to make sure that doesn't happen the same way that it happened in the previous match? Years and years ago, that would happen to me. I would play a really good friend of mine back in Street Fighter 4. I believe it was vanilla Street Fighter 4. He was playing Vega, I play Sakura, and Vega has this like move where he flies off the wall and he starts the Zuna drops and all that stuff. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I would be so salty because I'm like, bro, like carried by Vega, bro. Like, I don't know how to stop it. I would be really frustrated and not wanting to play the game, but in reality, what I need to do is go to training room and figure out what can I do to stop this approach. Even though it did, take a hit to my ego, I was like stubborn for a while, I eventually did say, okay, there's gotta be a way to stop this. And then my answer was like Crouch Fears with Sakura, and I like stopped all of his like jumping shenanigans. And I was like, okay, cool. And then once I figured that out, I was good to go. And sure, that example I gave might be a bit surface level, as it was more so me just getting into the scene and not knowing how to do it with something as simple as like the Barcelona drops with Vega. But I was losing a lot, and regardless of the skill level, I just smacked myself in the face with my drawstring. Regardless of the skill level, you will face something that you're not too sure how to deal with, which can prompt you to lose a lot. Daigo Umehara versus Xian, Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition version 2012. Xian was fresh off of his EVO Championship win for Street Fighter 4, and Daigo defeats him 10-0 in a first to 10 exhibition. You're gonna lose, and you're gonna lose a lot, but how you lose makes all the difference. If you lose, are you gonna blame external factors? Are you gonna blame the game itself? Are you just gonna put the game down and not look back? Or are you gonna come back with a fresh mind and then tackle it again the next day, next week, however much time you need off? Xian goes on to be a Capcom Cup qualifier in Street Fighter 6 over 10 years later. Bro, that's crazy. I remember watching an exhibition live. Time flies, bro. Jesus. Tip number 2, respect your body. And no, I'm not talking you out of selling your body on the street corners to get Street Fighter 6 DLCs. I mean, if that's something you want to do, I mean, by all means, go and do it. But I'm talking about be more in tune with how you're feeling throughout the day. I have become so hyper aware and tuned in with my body when it comes to fighting games. I was like not even remotely funny. Over a decade ago, I wouldn't have even batted an eye, but I really do ask myself, have I drank much water? Did I get a good amount of sleep? Am I tired when I get off of work? All those little things can come into play and affect how you play the game. I know I am a very particular person when it comes to these things. So when I'm playing in tournaments, I always have a water bottle by my side at all times. I truly believe that water helps just carry me to play to the best of my ability. You really do have to refresh your brain. Or so say for instance, I'll get off work and then there's a tournament, maybe like a local. I have to ask myself like, well, if I go to this local, will I be able to play how I would like to play? I just got off of like a long shift. I'm relatively tired. I may not be able to to do critical thinking when it comes to playing these demanding games. The Street Fighter 6 Capcom Pro Tour World Warrior tournaments went on last year, and I was able to participate in them, doing well within each bracket, guaranteeing me a spot in the regional finals. And I'm not gonna lie, a huge part of the reason why I was able to do well in these tournaments is, one, I feel like I'm at a really good spot with Street Fighter 6, but two, it was an online tournament and I was able to set my routine perfectly how I would like to do it. I would wake up at a certain hour, I made sure I had ample amounts of sleep, I made sure I had a light breakfast, maybe like some eggs and a bagel. I would drink literally a whole jug of water, and then I would warm up for like 15 minutes and then I would play in tournament, and I would be playing so zenful, it's not even funny. I will say that everyone is different, so I highly recommend to try experimenting with factors like these. I'm no nutritionist, but maybe try going a day drinking a lot of water, then hopping into your next ranked match session. Maybe try squeezing in a nap after work, then try playing the game. Say for instance, one of my really good friends, King Gambler, professional Mortal Kombat player, I know that he personally doesn't like eating before he plays in a serious bracket, as he thinks that actually doesn't allow him to play as well as he wants to play. Me, I'm the opposite. I can't play ranked match, I can't play tournament on an empty stomach. I need a little bit of food, I need a lot of water, and I need a lot of rest. Otherwise I flowchart, and I also play with too much emotion, running into too many obstacles. Tip number 3 is to make friends. Making friends is a great way to stay invested, and it's great to have a rival where you're able to measure each other's skills and continue to push each other to greatness. In this day and age, you're able to go on like Twitter or Discord groups and meet a really kind and welcoming community, which I know some people might be thinking that some people can be a bit bizarre, and which people can be bizarre in all different types of community. But from my experience, a lot of people within the fighting game scene are very helpful, and they are down to get games in with you, as long as you're not annoying about it. If you would consider yourself a shy person or someone that would be more introverted, don't worry, there is still hope for you, because before I entered the fighting game scene, I was incredibly shy and didn't want to talk to anyone that wasn't a friend of mine or wasn't family. I was a very reserved individual, and it wasn't until I started to meet more people in the fighting game scene, in which it broke me out of my shell to the point that I became this like social butterfly that I can turn on and off depending on days. But I love all the people that I meet within the scene. Well, almost everyone. There's two people I want to mention that had a huge impact when it comes to meeting people within the fighting game scene, that these people actually have zero clue that they had this much of an impact, not just regarding fighting games, but just life as a whole, being Narugato Alex and Biohazard. These two people essentially, not necessarily broke me out of my shell, but was able to get me to be more social. I met Narugato Alex at a tournament called Texas Bar Fights, in which they were hosting an Injustice 1 tournament. Ever since then, we've been really good friends. We were the same, we are the same age. And he would come up to me and he would just make me feel like just a part of whichever thing is going on. I'm very grateful for that, because like I said, I was a super shy person, and him just including me and just always, you know, just basically checking up on me, just chopping over me every single time I go to tournaments, was very it was like a breath of fresh air. It just felt like I had someone to go to whenever I went to tournaments. It was great having a friend like that. The second person being Biohazard, he truly introduced me how to just introduce myself to other people and just start small talk. And the thing is, that wasn't his intention at all. Back in 2016, I believe it was 2015, there was a reality show called Chasing the Cup for Mortal Kombat X players. I was a Mortal Kombat player, so I watched the whole thing, and I thought it was pretty funny, but back then I didn't really have any favorite players. For the most part, I was always my favorite player, but Biohazard was the one person I was like, that guy seems like a genuinely nice dude, and I hope he like wins the whole thing. I love watching him play Ferrotor. Like, dude seems awesome. Whenever I started making strides within the Mortal Kombat scene, I go to a major CEO, and I remember I was just standing at a station and someone comes up to me, taps me on the back, and I turned around and it was Biohazard. And then in my hand I was like, yo, no way. No way Biohazard just approached me just now. And then he said like, you're Kuzco. I was like, yeah. And then he stuck his hand out. I gave him a handshake and he just said, nice to meet you. And then we just started small talking. Bro, as silly as it sounds, literally just like going up to someone and just saying, oh hey, I'm Biohazard, or I'm Kuzco, and just shaking their hand and just talking about just like fighting game stuff, it just opens so many doors, bro. Like, I am very grateful for that day in Biohazard. I'm not too sure who's ever going to see this, but I'm not going to lie. Thank you so much for something like that, because I just was able to be more comfortable around people. And I highly suggest, if you're not necessarily comfortable with talking to people, just start a little small talk. You're all both within the same realm of a hobby. There's definitely stuff to talk about regarding characters or the current games are out. Not only that, you can make someone's day. And I'm sure someone going up to you can make your day as well. So spread the love, spread the joy, enjoy some fighting games. We have 2 tips left to talk about, but I will say, if you found any of these tips that we just discussed helpful to you, please consider leaving a like, as it does help the video out tremendously and is able to reach more people to help them regarding these topics. Tip number 4, fighting games are emotional, both inside and outside the game. Now, emotional outside the game is pretty obvious. You'll play a match, things don't go your way, maybe you'll baby rage, get upset, crash out, be sad. You know, it's bound to happen. But something that people don't discuss much is the emotion that plays within the game itself. One thing I believe that gets overlooked are the emotions that go into playing a match. So I'll use a couple examples. So say for instance, maybe your opponent is very close to winning, but they begin to back off. Why are they backing off? Maybe they become a bit more hesitant because, oh wait, I'm really close to closing out this game, but I don't want to overcommit. And so they become a little bit more reserved and wait for you to walk into something. They might be a little bit nervous there. Or say for instance, you have an input error. I play Cammy. If I jump and try to do a dive kick, but my dive kick doesn't come out, and I whiff a kick attack in the air, I get punished for it. I'm gonna be thinking, wow, I'm upset. My input didn't come out, my dive kick didn't come out, my opponent got a clear opening for something that they didn't mean to do. That has me feeling some type of way. That might influence me to wake up DP. That might influence me to wake up crouch jab. It can influence me in a lot of ways differently. But as I've grown as a player, I can use that against my opponent, thinking, oh hey, I should be doing a crash out option here, but instead I'm not going to give that to them. I know that they're going to be on the defense looking for something crazy, and I'm going to go for a crouch medium kick drive rush, referring to Street Fighter 6, because I know their ankles are going to be exposed. They get hit by it. The list of examples can go on and on, but when you go into your next match, be asking yourself, oh hey, how do I feel about this interaction? How do they feel about this interaction? How will that influence how they play the game? Even talking about, say for instance, what I mentioned, people might be more hesitant when they're close to winning. Not all the time, but it could be a thing. If I see that my opponent is backing off when he's like close to victory, I'm like, oh hey, he's a little bit scared to close it out. I can use this to my advantage. I can just wiggle my way in, then apply pressure. Tip number 5, our last and final tip, is that fighting games are actually team-based, in which that might contradict some of the stuff that I said in tip 1, where I said, oh hey, it's just you, yourself, and your controller. But in reality, the deeper you go within your fighting game journey, the bigger the team you get. And no, I'm not talking about Street Fighter League or 2XKO or Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which by the way, see me in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. My Raven and Elisa go crazy, but that's beyond the point. Point is, the deeper you go within your journey, friends, family, colleagues, fellow competitors, they're gonna be cheering you on, man. The point is, the more you play, the better you get. You're not just playing for yourself anymore. You got a whole crew. For people that don't know, last year I was featured on Justin Wong's Next Up show for Street Fighter 6 for a chance to win $10,000. I am forever grateful for that opportunity, and huge thank you to Justin for allowing me to be on his show. Unfortunately, I came up short and ended up losing, not getting the 10K, not going super far into it, what have you, and I was super bummed about it. I was sad, so sad. And the thing is, I wasn't sad that I didn't get the $10,000. I wasn't sad that I barely lost on a comeback. It was more so I let my people down. Everyone cheering me on, let them down. But you know what? I got over it relatively quickly. You know why? Because the people that I thought I let down were just happy to see me play the game. They're just happy to be a part of it. And that's something that you can never take for granted. So when you go out there to your local, maybe you know like 1 or 2 people, once they watch you play on stream, they'll be hyping you up, you know? If you come up short, it's okay. It's okay. Y'all have a good laugh over it. Get some more games in. And if you win, just know the boys are going to be going crazy. If you made it through the entire video, thank you so very much. I will say this video had a handful of self-inserts because I wanted to show you guys my personal fighting game journey through the highs and the lows, to show you guys that everything will be okay, and that whenever you are faced with these different situations, just know that you'll come out an even stronger fighting game player. And hey, if you like fighting game stuff, Mash House, yes sir. Merch, we got hats, we got t-shirts for all your fighting game needs. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.